All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another YouTube video, and today we are going to talk about why I decided to quit full-time streaming. My goal with this video today is to actually share with you guys the context of my streaming journey. I want to give you guys 3 reasons why I decided to quit full-time streaming, and then at the very end I'm actually going to share some insight on whether you yourself should full-time stream or not, and if you do, how exactly can you prepare for that full-time streamer life. Now, little disclaimer, if you're a person who genuinely only streams strictly for fun and you're just here to have a good time and whatnot, this video is not going to be for you. And what I mean by that is I'm going to take a more content creator approach where your goals are actually to grow as a content creator and to actually have streaming be something that you can earn a viable source of income. If you're just streaming for fun, this video is probably not going to be for you. But if you have a little ounce of you that has any interest in making streaming a viable source of income and you want to know whether you should go full-time in it, wait till the very end. I think you'll like this video. So before I actually jump into the context of my video, are you following my Twitter? Now, if you're not following my Twitter, I highly suggest you follow my Twitter. All of my updates go up on my Twitter. I am actually getting in the process of doing more informative threads up on the Twitter. So if you're not following the Twitter, what are you doing? Go follow it now. All right, so let's jump into this video. I want to talk first about the context behind why I became a streamer and where I'm coming from, particularly in what exactly my intent was going into streaming. So prior to becoming a streamer, I was actually an accountant. I recently got my degree and I started working in the accounting world. And while I was doing accounting, I actually started streaming for fun in my free time. And I started doing that 4 times a week. During that time, I actually had the luxury of getting a taste of donations. And I was like, yo, people are willing to give me money like that just for playing games and going live. So I thought to myself, I'm like, all right, maybe I could actually make this a full-time thing. And if there's one message that I want to share about me in particular that I value a lot, it's my time. And I think time itself is the most valuable asset in the world, more than money, more than anything. And I think being rich in time is literally like the best thing ever. As I was there doing my 9-to-5 job and I was doing my streaming, I thought to myself, all right, why don't I actually give this a shot? Why don't I take a step away from doing accounting and actually try to become a content creator, particularly focused on Twitch streaming? And that's what I did. So when I pulled the trigger, I quit my accounting job and I started to become a full-time streamer. I started off streaming 4 times a week in the evenings, and then that transitioned to streaming 5 times a week in the morning. That's pretty much the new life that I was getting into. And I'm going to share with you guys particularly my peak stats. And the reason why I want to share my peak stats is I want you to understand where I actually got to and why I'm deciding not to stick with it. But the all-time view count high that I've ever got in my entire streaming career is somewhere around 3,000. And that was when Chica rated me one time, which was man, that was a crazy stream, a lot of pressure. Yo, comment arms, anybody? Whoa! Oh my! Hold up, that did not just happen. So many eyes on you, but nonetheless, that was the #1 highest view count that I've ever got. And if you want to know what my view count was without getting rated, it was around 900 to 1,000. And this normally only happens in the start of stream when like your Twitch notification goes out and everyone comes in. So my highest ever was around, I'd say, I'm just gonna say 1,000. So that was the all-time high view count. If we're gonna talk about average view count per stream, I did peak at about, I'd say 300 to 400 viewers. This was like consistent. I was able to pull roughly 300 viewers consistently throughout my streams. So that was my highest average. Now let's actually talk about the money, the shit you actually care about. In terms of income, particularly when I was very consistent as a streamer and I was already pulling a good amount of viewers, I'd say I averaged roughly $3,000 per month, give or take a couple thousand. That is not including any sponsorships. That's also not including any org payments because I was signed to an org for some time. But I would say 3,000, maybe even 4,000 is a good average for how much I was getting paid for Twitch. That's pretty much like how great streaming got for me. And before I jump into why I quit, I just want to say that I loved it all. Like, I genuinely loved it all, and it was a really, really good experience. And I'm very appreciative of all the memories that I got to make streaming full time, because I spent a lot of time with my audience and my chat, and I love them a lot. You know who you are. I would not throw any of those memories away. I'm very happy to have gone through and experienced what it was like to stream full-time and just go full-on aggressive on streaming, you know? All right, so let's jump into the nitty-gritty. Mr. Legendaley, why did you quit your job if you're doing this good already? So like I said, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why I decided to quit streaming full-time. Let's get to the first reason: mental health. Now, one thing that I didn't understand when I decided to take on streaming full-time, especially coming from an accounting 9-to-5 background, is that you're actually trading your 9-to-5 for a 24/7 job. Yeah. So aside from streaming 4 to 5 times a week, I actually spent all my free time focused on making content for other platforms. What are those other platforms? Instagram, YouTube, TikTok especially. And on top of that, I had to stay active and engage with my community via Twitter and then Discord. And then not just that, I'm also trying to stay active in other streamers' chats. So I was actually like, it's a 24/7 job. You literally get no break. Like, you have to keep going, especially streaming as a full-time streamer. One thing you need to understand with Twitch is that it's heavily momentum based. Get that nailed in your head. Twitch is heavily momentum based. So what do I mean by that? You have to keep going, because if you stop and take a break, you almost in a sense do like a soft reset, and you need to gain back the average viewers that you were pulling previously. It did get to a point where I was actually like dreading streams. I was like, yo, I don't want to stream today. Like, I just don't. And it got to the point also where I was actually like neglecting family time, and I was also skipping meals. I couldn't even like gym anymore or focus anything physical health related. Let's backtrack a bit. I value time, and I think time is very, very precious and important, and it's very important to be able to have the time that you want for the things that you love in life. Like, that's how bad it got with streaming full time. And again, like I said, you need to understand that I had the goal and intent of growing as a streamer. Streaming is more than just going live. It's actually maintaining everything about the stream and then doing your best to push your stream outside of streaming, if that makes sense. So that's the first point, and it's essentially mental health. I can literally continuously talk about it forever, but we're going to call it there and move on to the second point. The second reason why I decided to stop streaming full time is that the bigger I got, the more unethical it felt being a streamer. To start off this topic, I actually want to share with you guys a TikTok that I recently posted that actually sheds some light on the unethical side of streaming. So let's watch it. I know this is YouTube, you're probably cringing at that video, but regardless, the message that I actually tried to share in that TikTok is that there is a little bit of an unethical side. Don't get me wrong, I'm very, very thankful for anybody who has decided to donate any form of financial support to me as a streamer. And one thing I understand is that the bigger you get as a streamer, the more you understand what pulls the money in. I found that when I shared a more emotional side of myself, people were more likely to give. You kind of learn that as a streamer, a good way to maximize your income is to actually play with the emotions of your viewers. I'm not going to say that every streamer out there is fake and only doing it for the money. The reality is, if you want to maximize income, you got to be ready to play that game. And that's a game that is just the nature of streaming. It's just there. It will always be there. Some of the best streamers who have made the most money know that, and they play this game in order for their audience to be more likely to want to give to them. And if you can't really grasp what I'm trying to say, I can give you one example which I know is very normal in the streaming industry, and that is subathons. Subathons are exactly this. All subathons involve money. You have never heard of a subathon where money is not involved. And if you have, then damn, that's a real one. Like, whoa. People are actually choosing to forego their own physical health for the entertainment of the viewers and the greater likelihood that they're going to donate to them. You might be asking how that actually plays with the emotions of the viewers. Viewers want to see the streamer suffer. If you are trying to become a full-time streamer and you genuinely want to make this a viable source of income, especially a main source of income, you're going to be willing to play these types of games, these subathons, these playing with viewers. If you've ever watched the movie Squid Game, where the participants are all actually suffering very, very like brutal, gory deaths, and then you have an audience of people that are just kind of laughing at like, yo, that's so funny, and this audience has money. Think about it. That series is essentially a hyperbole of streaming. People are going out there to perform ridiculous tasks and get financially rewarded in that case. That's one thing that really bothered me. And I've only done like 2 subathons in my entire streaming career, and I've been streaming for more than 2 years now. So if you do also get into subathons, one thing you also need to understand is that afterwards, you just feel like shit. When you stream and you have a subathon and you have a heightened number of viewers, and you also have a heightened number of donations because of the financial incentives, the next time you come live, you're gonna feel like crap, because half, maybe the quarter of the people that watched you during your subathon are not going to be watching you, and you're also not going to be getting the same amount of money, and you go into this cycle of like, damn, like, should I do another subathon? And then it becomes an endless loop of you trying to make up for these feelings that you're feeling of being unworthy and not being good enough. And I just hated that cycle. I was so aware of it. I knew that if I wanted to continue progressing in my streaming career, I would have to be able to deal and handle that cycle. So let's leave number 2 at that. The bigger that I got, the more unethical it felt. I didn't like that. Let us come to the final topic, which is number 3. And I'm going to summarize it in 2 words. Evergreen content. Streaming is not evergreen content. Now, when I said that I'm quitting streaming full time, that does not mean I'm quitting content creation full time. I am still technically a content creator full time. I am choosing to allocate my time to other platforms where value is infinitely available to an audience. When you stream and you go live, you have an audience watching you for that duration. When you turn off the stream, that's it. You're done. People can't watch you anymore. It is not evergreen content. Now, you could also make the argument that, oh, there's a VOD on Twitch where like your whole stream gets saved and someone can go watch it. Yes, there is, but I want you to be realistic. How many people actually go stream hopping and watch random people's VODs? It just doesn't happen. People don't watch VODs unless they already have some form of interest in that particular person. I do not believe that there's an audience out there who is casually browsing through random streamers' VODs, deciding if this is somebody that I like. In contrast, evergreen content is content that lasts forever on the internet. YouTube. I could post a YouTube video, and in 10 years from now, if that topic of that YouTube video is still relevant, 10 years from now, somebody could still watch it. TikTok. I could post any video and it will stay up there forever. Now, you might make the argument that the life cycle of TikTok is a lot shorter. People don't really go back to watch videos. But if you were to gain a viewer who genuinely like loves your content, I can promise you they will be scrolling back your TikToks to see what they're like. Whereas if you're a streamer, where are they gonna go to watch your old stuff? They can't. They can't watch your VOD from 2 years ago. Unless you edit it somewhere and put it on YouTube, that's a different story. As a full-time content creator, I am responsible for making sure that I am financially healthy. I do not believe that focusing strictly on streaming, especially trying to make streaming as the main source of income, is financially healthy as a content creator. I just don't believe that. Yes, I could keep streaming and just try to maintain like the amount of money that I was making, but it's inevitable that at some point I'm gonna burn myself out, which also kind of ties to point number 1. I'm gonna burn myself out and I'm eventually gonna stop, which is literally what happened to me. I did stream full time for like at least a year and a half, and I did that, and there just came a point where I'm like, look, I'm tired. I need to take a break because I just can't do this. The fact that I actually have to keep up with the momentum makes it so much more harder. And that's actually why big streamers don't take breaks. If you ever think about big streamers, the reason they don't take breaks is they will cut off their momentum, and there's a good chance that when they come back, they won't have the same number of viewers that will be watching them before. Personally, by choosing not to stream full time, I free myself up of more time and energy to focus on content that can benefit me infinitely in the future. Evergreen content. Now, obviously, an argument you can make here is you can create evergreen content out of your streams. My answer to that is that It's easier if you have a team behind you that's editing your streams for you. That is sustainable. I did not have that. I had to go nitty-gritty and make content on these platforms myself, especially to the extent that I wanted to push out evergreen content. If I wanted it done, I would have to do it myself. I am in the process of growing my team, and perhaps in the long future, I'll have a whole full-fledged team just automatically dishing out content for me. But until then, I just don't think it's viable for me to try to do it all myself. So I am not full-time streaming anymore for that reason. So we are here. We are at the juiciest part of the video. How can you apply what I've learned to yourself? Now, here's what I have to say. If you're not already a big creator on a different platform outside of Twitch, in order for you to become a full-time streamer, you will have to brace yourself for a 24/7 life. It's just the way it is. It's how it works. And if you're a person who somehow has infinite energy, never burns out, has no interest in anything else, then you could probably jump into full-time streaming. And chances are, if you're younger, you do have that time and energy to be able to do that. Figure out a strategy where you're going to be pulling in new viewers. And on top of that, stay consistent. And when I say stay consistent, I don't mean stream when you feel like it. I mean stream a fixed amount of times per week for a fixed amount of hours in each stream so that you can maintain the new viewers that you're pulling in. I think what's very, very important is you need to figure out a system that works for you. What works for me is not going to work for you. What works for you is not going to work for me. So you need to find a system that works for you. Make sure that system is sustainable. So again, if you're streaming purely for fun, a lot of what I say in this video is likely not going to be relevant to you, because I am a content creator. I am actually trying to keep myself financially healthy. I am figuring out my own forms of income streams. And I've just personally decided that full-time streaming is not a source of income that I want to try to maintain. I'm still going to stream. I'm just not going to be streaming Monday to Friday at X amount of times anymore. I'm still going to stream, guys. Look, I'm not going anywhere, okay? With that being said, that gives me back the #1 asset that I care about the most, and that is my time. I can make a YouTube video such as this one and then go to the gym, be with family, go out for a run, be with my girlfriend. I can do all of that, and this video will forever be up on the internet for people like you to watch. So that's pretty much all I have to say. And if you're watching this video and you made it this far, leave a thumbs up, drop that like, and also comment below what your thoughts are on full-time streaming, whether it's something that you can do, or if you're already doing it, what is your experience with full-time streaming? And that's pretty much all from me.